The phone buzzed on the nightstand at 2:17 a.m., and the screen lit up with a name I hadn't seen in 2 years. Lila, man of honor. My stomach folded in on itself before I even touched the glass. Sarah was asleep beside me, one arm flung over my chest like nothing in the world could pry us apart, but the preview of the message sliced the dark open. Can't wait to stand next to you in that tux, babe. Dreamed about it again. I stared at the ceiling, pulse hammering in my ears, telling myself it had to be a joke, a typo, a sleep-deprived hallucination. My ex-girlfriend's name glowing on my fiancé's lock screen didn't make sense in any universe I recognized. I eased out from under Sarah's arm, padded barefoot to the bathroom and locked the door. The cold tile bit my soles while I opened the thread with shaking thumbs. The messages went back months. Lila congratulating Sarah on the venue deposit. Sarah sending Lila photos of the bridal party color swatch. Lila replying with heart-eye emojis and the words, "You're going to be the most beautiful bride. And I get the best seat in the house." There were voice notes too, Sarah's laugh, low and private, the kind she used to save for me when we first moved in together. I pressed play on one dated 3 weeks ago. I keep picturing you in that charcoal suit standing right there while I say yes to forever. Don't be late, okay? My knees buckled. I sat on the closed toilet lid, head in my hands, the speaker crackling with Lila's answering chuckle. Wouldn't miss it for anything, gorgeous. I don't know how long I stayed in there. Long enough for the mirror to fog from my breath. Long enough for the city outside to start its pre-dawn hum. When I finally crept back to bed, Sarah had rolled onto her stomach, hair fanned across the pillow like spilled ink. I lay on my back, eyes wide, replaying every moment I'd missed. The late work calls she took in the hallway. The way she'd started locking her phone face down. How she'd flinch when I brushed her hip in the kitchen, then overcorrect with a too bright smile. Morning came gray and reluctant. Sarah woke first, humming as she brewed coffee. I watched her move around our apartment, the same apartment where I'd proposed on one knee beside the couch, where we'd painted the bedroom sage green because she said it felt like hope. She slid a mug across the counter to me, steam curling between us like a question mark. "You look wrecked," she said, tilting her head. "Bad dreams." I swallowed the scalding coffee and tasted nothing. Something like that. She kissed my forehead, soft, familiar. And I wanted to believe the lie of it so badly my chest ached. The day dragged. I sat through client meetings on autopilot, nodding while numbers blurred on the screen. Every time my phone buzzed I flinched, half expecting another midnight confession from a ghost. By 6 I was home early, takeout cooling on the table, waiting for her to walk through the door. Sarah came in flushed from spin class, ponytail swinging. She dropped her gym bag, wrapped her arms around my neck from behind the couch, and nipped my ear. "Missed you." I caught her wrists before she could pull away. "We need to talk." The playful light in her eyes dimmed. "Okay." I opened the thread on my phone, screenshot after screenshot I'd taken in the bathroom's blue glow, and laid the device between us like evidence. Her face drained of color so fast I thought she might faint. She sank onto the ottoman, hands clasped between her knees. "Explain the man of honor thing, Sarah. Explain why my ex is dreaming about standing next to you at our wedding." She opened her mouth, closed it, opened it again. "It's not what you think." "Then tell me what it is." My voice cracked on the last word. She rubbed her palms on her leggings, buying time. "Lila and we reconnected last year. You were on that Denver trip, remember? I ran into her at the farmer's market. We grabbed coffee. It was nice. She apologized for how things ended with you guys. Said she'd grown up. We started texting. Just friendly at first." "Friendly," I echoed. The word tasted like rust. Sarah's eyes glistened. "I was lonely, Jake. You were gone all the time, new job, new hours. I felt invisible." Lila listened. She got me. And somewhere along the line the lines blurred. I didn't mean for it to happen. Blurred how far? She looked away. We kissed. Once. In her car after the cake tasting. I stopped it. Told her it was a mistake. But I couldn't bring myself to cut her off. She makes me feel seen. Like the version of me before mortgages and seating charts and pretending everything's perfect. I laughed, a sharp, ugly sound. "So you made her your man of honor." I thought if I gave her a role, a public one, it would force everything back into the light. Turn whatever this is into something harmless. A joke we could all laugh about later. A joke, I repeated. My ribs felt too small for my lungs. You hid an emotional affair from me for a year and thought parading my ex down the aisle in a tux would fix it? Tears tracked down her cheeks. I know how it sounds. I know I broke us. But I love you, Jake. I do. The wedding, the life we planned. It's still what I want. I was going to tell Lila no, that she couldn't stand up with me. I swear I was. I stood, needing distance from the tremor in her voice. When? Next week. After the final fitting. Next week. I dragged a hand through my hair. Jesus, Sarah. She rose too, reaching for me. We can get through this. Counseling, transparency, whatever you need. Please don't throw us away over one stupid mistake. One. I stepped back. You built a whole secret life. You let her inside the parts of you I thought were mine alone. Her sob hit me like a slap. I was scared. You looked at me like I was already perfect and I was crumbling. I didn't know how to tell you I wasn't. I thought of the ring on her finger, white gold, tiny diamonds, the one I'd saved 6 months to buy. I thought of the venue deposit, the invitations addressed in her mother's calligraphy. I thought of the way she used to trace circles on my back when nightmares woke me, whispering, I've got you. Stand up with whoever you want, I said, voice flat. But it won't be at our wedding because there isn't going to be one. The silence that followed was deafening. Sarah's knees buckled. She caught the back of the couch to stay upright. Jake. I deserve someone who chooses me every single day. Not someone who needs a backup when the shine wears off. I pulled the ring box from my pocket, the one I'd been carrying for the final fitting, and set it on the coffee table between us. Give that back to me or don't. I'm done begging for a place I thought was already mine. She stared at the velvet box like it might bite her. You're really walking away? I'm walking toward something that doesn't make me question my own memories. I grabbed my keys, my wallet, the duffel I kept in the closet for overnight shoots. At the door I paused, hand on the knob. Tell Lila the tux is all hers. Maybe she'll finally get the happy ending she wrote over ours. The hallway light flickered as I stepped out. Behind me, Sarah's crying chased me down the stairwell. Raw animal sounds that clawed at my resolve. I kept moving. In the parking garage I sat in my truck with the engine off, forehead against the steering wheel, letting the tears come hot and silent. 3 weeks later the invitations came back unopened. A stack of cream envelopes on the kitchen counter I no longer shared. I moved into my buddy Mark's spare room, slept on an air mattress that smelled like dog, and woke every morning reaching for a body that wasn't there. Some nights I scrolled through old photos. Sarah mid-laugh at the county fair, cotton candy stuck to her chin, and felt the loss like a fresh bruise. I saw her once more, outside the courthouse where we signed the cancellation papers for the venue. She looked thinner, eyes red-rimmed, clutching a paper cup like it was the only thing keeping her upright. When our gazes met, she lifted a hand in a small broken wave. I nodded, nothing more, and walked to my truck. Love isn't a promise you keep when it's easy. It's the choice you make when the hard parts show up. Sarah taught me that the hard way. And the ring I never got back still sits in a drawer at Mark's, catching light every time I open it to find a clean shirt. Proof that some things glitter long after the story ends.